Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss UPSC syllabus orientation, book list, pattern, trend analysis, strategy for UPSC Mains 2026 of ethics case study section. You know very well students, this case study plays a huge role in your ethics paper. That is, it carries marks around 48% in your GS paper 4 segment, that is ethics. So out of 250 marks, 120 marks are asked from case study segment, and we need to prepare this segment in a systematic manner. Let's go into the GS paper 4 ethics, the expectation of the examiner from us. As I said already, while discussing the section A of our syllabus in ethics, the UPSC examiners are looking for issues relating to integrity, probity in public life, and problem solving approach relating to various issues while addressing the especially the ethics answer writing. So you need to address that in your answers. So not only that, students, with respect to case studies, they will be asking you with respect to all the keywords which they have mentioned in the syllabus, like probity in governance, public service values, and ethics in administration. And they will also ask some case studies testing your emotional intelligence, aptitude, attitude, and various ethics and values related conflicts in your case studies. That is what they have mentioned in our syllabus component. Let's go into the sources which we can refer for case studies. You can go into the contribution of moral thinkers and philosophers segment with respect to Lexicon book. So you need to quote with respect to the case study, students, whenever we are taking a decision, why you are taking a particular decision. That is what going to matter the UPSC examiner more, and the evaluator will determine your marks only based on that. So to justify your answers, you need to quote various ethics related quotes in your answers, and you can quote various moral thinkers, as well as you can quote various administrators, and you can also quote the examples from epics such as Ramayana, Mahabharata in your answer writing. So all these are answer writing techniques with respect to case study, students. To get some information related to all these components to quote in your answer writing, we need to refer the Lexicon book, and we can also study the methodology given in Lexicon book on case study. Additionally, we can also make use of only as material for contribution of moral thinker segment, which is given in a very good manner, and also to write case studies in an effective manner. Let's focus upon UPSC 2025 case study questions. Almost in your section B in your ethics paper, there will be actually 6 case studies which will be asked every year, students, and each case study will be carrying 20 marks. So out of 120 marks, you will be asked case studies, and all the questions are compulsory. Let's go into the first ethics case study question. First question is pertaining to Ashok, who is an divisional commissioner of one of the border districts in northeastern state. So in this particular case study, students, you try to understand it. Let me justify, try to precisely give you what is the main issue involved in the case study. So as a divisional commissioner, Ashok has to take care of northeastern state, and he is actually taking care in the neighboring country which is bordering rebel groups. And in the neighboring country, due to military takeovering and due to rebels and violence happening in the neighboring country, lot of people are actually entering into the Indian side of the border. And Indian side of the border, while they entering, they are actually having women, children, also rebel groups which are mixed among this. So you need to inform your home secretary to take a decision regarding that, but home secretary is not able to connect in due to bad weather in that situation. So what actions you will take as a divisional commissioner at that particular situation? Because this case study is revolving around the issue of security versus compassion towards weaker sections such as women and children, students. So you need to necessarily quote the various ethical dilemma as a divisional commissioner, as an administrator you will face, and what decision you will take. By compromising the security, you will go for compassion, or you will go towards protecting the security of the country by not taking care of compassion towards the weaker section. What will be your decision making regarding this particular situation? That is the essence of this particular question, students. Let's move to the second question. This is related to NREJ scheme. With respect to NREJ scheme, students, this particular person, so they are asking you to be an administrator of that. So as an administrator who is taking care of the district and the NREJ program, you will be assigned to take care of all the kinds of regulation regarding the works. But while implementing the work, lot of malfunctioning and misadministration has happened, and you have noticed that some of them they have mentioned in the question itself, like money is not disposed to the actual job seekers, and they have maintained the persons who have worked in a wrong manner, and there is a mismatch between work done and payments made. Payments were also made to fictitious means wrong persons who were not in the list and who have not done the NRJ work. and job cards were given without looking into the need of the person, mismanagement of funds, and approved works that were never existed. All these were some of the malfunctioning and misadministration you have found while taking care of the NRGA work. So what actions will you take as an administrator in this particular situation? That is the second case study, students. Let's now focus upon the third case study. This is regarding Rajesh. He is a Group A officer. So he is having 9 years service and he is an administrative officer who will carry and manage office supplies and the equipments, and he is in charge of oil related public sector undertakings. He is working in that domain. Now what happens is that he is looking for promotion in his company, and then promotion is dependent on his boss only. But what his boss is doing is that he is asking him to go for some order, that is order related to computer related stationery, but the bill is coming around 35 lakhs, students. But as per legal procedure, you can only have a single bill for 30 lakhs, or you need to separate the bill. What is the problem is, in case of large order which is getting splitted into smaller ones, that is against the norms and rules of the general financial rules. Now, as a boss, by obeying his instruction, will you compromise the general financial rules, or will you follow the rules, but you will convince your boss regarding that? What decision will you take in this matter? That is the main crux of this case study, students. Let's go to the next case study. This is pertaining to Subhash, who is a secretary to government. He is working in the state government also. Now they have given some information regarding that, because Subhash is known for very honest, integral person dedicated to his job as an IAS officer. But his minister who is working with him is trying to influence in him, because this particular work which Subhash is working, this is related to road construction projects, tendering work. Now Subhash's son, he also want to take care and influence in this some of the works, because what Subha's road construction project which is happening, if you could get the information, means he can buy some land nearby that and he can make profits out of that. But that is a sensitive information. Whether Subhas as an honest officer will review the information to his son Vikas, and additionally the ministry is also giving some pressure to him to take care of the nephew, because he wants to have some business interest in the forthcoming road construction project. So what decision will you take? Will you obey the minister, or will you support your son, or will you go by the honesty and integrity? That is what the value Subhash is known for. So what decision you need to convey to the examiner, students, by analyzing what are the options you are having in hand also, and what are matters more in case study questions is, as I said already, why you are taking a particular decision. You need to quote the stance of Bhagavad Gita, Nishkama Karma, or utilitarian perspective, or dentology perspective, or you can quote even incidences from your own life or administrator IAS IPS life to justify which is perfect in that particular situation and what is actually required in that situation. You need to convey to the examiner. Let's focus upon the fifth case study, students. This particular case study is pertaining to DPSP rights, food, clothing, shelter for underprivileged, which the government, the state government wants to implement. And the district administration in particular, they wanted to clear a part of forest land. So the forest land, what is the problem is, by clearing the forest land, you can provide housing for homeless poor, but that forest land is coming in ecologically sensitive zone. So there is a issue of environmental development versus compassion towards, or you can say versus development or compassion towards weaker sections. All this you can correlate in this particular case study. So will you compromise environment, or will you go for protecting the weaker sections? What will be your stand on that? You need to take a particular whatever your analytical and ethical dimension in this case study, students. Let's focus upon the sixth case study. This is pertaining to Vijay as a deputy commissioner in remote district of northeastern state. Here there is a heavy rainfall. Due to heavy rainfall, national disaster has happened, and Vijay in charge of rescue and relief operation. But he is getting one sad news from his hometown that Vijay's mother has passed and he wanted to go there also. So he is a moral dilemma and ethical dilemma, whether he will protect the do the service for the country or service for his home. So what will be the ethical dilemma? What decision will you take in this particular situation? We need to convey to the examiner. Okay, students, let's now focus upon the pattern of ethics case study in the last 10 to 12 years. Usually there will be 6 case studies in section B, students, and each case study will be carrying 20 marks. So out of 120 marks, out of 250 marks, a case study will be playing a role in your examination. And in real examination, out of 3 year students, you can allot 1.5 hours for case studies. So you can write on an average 20 to 25 minutes one case study, and you will be given some 3.5 to 4 pages to write your case study answers. So overall, You need to follow the time management in your case study. Let's now focus upon the trend analysis of UPSC Mains 2025. So let's now look into the various case studies which they have asked. Overall, the theme of the various case studies were multi-layered dilemmas, good versus evil. You need to choose between these two, or sometimes between two goods and sometimes between two evil. You need to take a decision. That's why the dilemma plays a very huge role in ethics case studies decision making. Let's focus upon the first case study. They asked about humanitarian versus national security issue that is pertaining to the border state. The second case study, they asked about NREGA that is focused on governance and accountability. Third case study that talks about bureaucratic ethics. So whether you will bypass the global, that is the company's financial rules, or will you favor your selfish benefits for promotion? So regarding that, fourth case study revolved around nepotism and insider trading because you need to like as a secretary of an IAS officer, will he protect his son or will he favor his minister's nephew? It is the conflict of interest in the particular case study. And case study number 5, it talks about environmental versus development. Case study 6, it talks about personal versus professional duty. So that is a case study regarding the border in which the particular Vijay as a deputy commissioner was working. So overall, students, they have asked a serious case study dilemma in the recent 2025 mains examination. So what strategy you can adopt for 2026 case study preparation? What I will be suggesting my students is you need to work and think like a ethical administrator. So framework is going to be very, very important in your ethics case studies. So always match the stakeholders who are involved in a particular case study. You need to draw the case studies in a skeleton format, in a pictorial format to the examiners to convey who are the direct stakeholders and who are the indirect stakeholders. You need to convey to the examiner very clearly. And whenever you are making decision, students, you try to see that whether you have addressed all the stakeholders whom you have quoted in your case study. That is when your case study will fetch maximum marks. And while writing the ethical dilemma, clearly tell to the examiner the dilemmas like duty versus compassion, public interest versus private gain. Like that, you should convey the crucial keywords with the help of ethical dilemma. And the option analysis, you need to generate minimum 3 to 4 options, whether you will support the particular decision or will you go against the decision or will you consult your senior. Like that, you need to generate 3 4 options and try to make a balanced and ethical decision making. And the chosen path, what is very, very important, why you are making a particular decision, that is going to be important. So try to justify your decision with constitutional morality, laws of the country, various ethical theories like utilitarian and Kantian ethics also. Second, the most important thing in case study is try to follow the rules in case of ethics case study. So try to follow and master the basics of administrative law and convey in your case study the emotional intelligence very good to the examiner, and try to also understand the standard operating protocol of various administrators such as IAS, IPS, and in disaster management and national security protocol procedures, students, before going for the exam. With respect to answer writing, what is very important is don't overflow idealism. So overload should be avoided. What is very, very important is try to use case like keywords, probity, accountability, compassion, dedication to public service, objectivity in your case study, and try to write a case study in 4 4.5 pages. Time management is very, very important. So try to point is in a manner address the case study, students. These are some of the answer writing things you need to keep in mind. And with respect to marks distribution, 48% weightage, that is out of 250 marks, 120 marks is allotted for case studies, but the maximum mark is allotted to section A only. Section B case studies, 120 marks, 48% weightage is carrying. And what are the value addition resources you need to refer, students? Vision Monthly Magazine, especially the magazines before mains examination. That is the main summary you can refer, especially for examples related to ethics in Vision Monthly Magazine. And UPC CSAT questions, especially of 2011 to 15, for decision making questions has been actually asked by the UPSC examiners in the past. You can look at those questions and try to look at various options which has been generated by the UPSC examiners. Same manner, you can also generate 3 4 options in the real examination for the case studies also, students. And while looking at the toppers notes, already I have shared in the Telegram group, make use of it. UPSC toppers answer copy and ethics case studies we have made in our YouTube channel. Go through that and try to understand the demand of the exam and try to practice more on answer writing technique to fetch maximum marks in ethics case studies. We'll meet again in a new video, students. Thank you.